morning, and how do you do? All right, so I made it down a little bit earlier than I normally do. I decided to do my live hit on the verticals right now, just to give you a little bit of update about what's going on. But first, as always, my new priority is to make sure I give you a tip right up front. So this goes out to a lot of new people, this little tip. It's a short one. It talks about breaking down a script. Now you may hear that term if you're on the pre-production side. This is something that if you're interested in directing, you need to know about right off the bat, breaking down a script. Now, there are a number of elements when you break down a script that need to be considered. Normally, what I do when I break down a script, it depends on the project, it depends on the project size, it depends on the project's budget, how long the script is, how detailed the project is, and ultimately too what the budget level and the turnaround on the script is. Now let's start simple. Let's start with breaking down a short script. Let's say if you're shooting a 5-minute short for YouTube. Now you don't go into as many details breaking down that script as you would if you're doing a feature film that's going to be theatrically released. That's a much more daunting process, and we're going to just talk about breaking down, say for instance, a 5-minute short. Normally what I would do first, I would break it down by scenes. I would find out how many scenes, and I do it the old-fashioned way. I sit with a pad and paper and the script, and I would break down and make a list of how many scenes are in the script. Then I would go under those scenes and I would come look at each scene and break down the elements that are needed for that script for that scene, as far as maybe the location, what cast, what extras, what props, what wardrobe, special effects. If I'm breaking it down, I'm thinking there might be something, big props needed like a car or whatever, large size props, and then I even would go down into the small size props. So breaking down a small script that you've written to shoot for maybe release on YouTube is a simple process. But a larger script is just a longer version of that same simple process. There are a lot more elements in a big budget production, and usually when someone does the script breakdown, it's not just them doing it by themselves. Different departments will do a breakdown based on their departments, what their departments will be needed, what they're responsible for. So again, let's go back to our little 5-minute script. I usually make a scene by scene list, and then I sit down with the script, pad, pen, pencil, and I pull out all the elements that are needed for each scene. And that's how I do a basic, bare bones script breakdown. So if anyone ever asks you about doing a script breakdown, you'll know the basics, and that's my tip for today. So what I plan to do today, I have a number of projects on my daily work list. I keep a daily work list here on my computer, and when I come downstairs, the objects or the subjects, hello, good morning everyone, good morning, good morning. Saying hi to the people who are dropping in on the live stream. I keep my work list and I look at it, usually at the night before I kind of move the elements around. That's the beauty of it. It's a Microsoft work list called Microsoft To Do. And if you're looking for one, if you're looking, hello, Marby, hello Marby. So if you're looking for one to use, I recommend that. Because what I like about it is that I can, once I plug my task in, the next day or the night before, I can try to organize it on what I plan to do today. One of the things that was on the top of my list for today was to sit down here with you guys on the live stream in YouTube Shorts and do a little introduction, give you a tip, and then talk a little bit about what my day would be like. So nice and simple. I'm going to do this once I wrap this up. The next thing on my list looks like I'm going to put out a few shorts that are related to a video I did yesterday. And so push out a few more shorts on that, and I continue to work on my YouTube channel. And then I have some other content that I want to edit, and so I'll be doing a little bit of editing today. The film that feature film I've been working on is kind of on hold right now. I'm waiting for the hard drive to arrive. How I work with this producer is we shoot, he shoots, and then he sends me the footage on a hard drive. And the reason I use a hard drive instead of some kind of online delivery system is that I find the online system kind of unreliable. And a lot of times what happens is sometimes when I'm downloading multiple files, and these are big 4K files, some of the files would become corrupt. And another thing that a lot of the systems, I haven't tried them all, but the systems that I use, they don't have what's called batch download. So that means I have to sit in front of the computer, and if he's giving me 350 individual files from the feature film he shot, I have to sit down manually and download each of those files and make sure that each of those files aren't corrupt when I receive them. And we did that in the past when we first started out, but it took too much time. It wasn't worth, I could have be using my time more effectively. So we just mail hard drives back and forth, and that works great. And it's a little more expensive than using the online, but it's more secure also. And I don't have to worry about sitting here and manually downloading files and then trying to coordinate if all the files came through, if any of the files are corrupt. So that's why we went back to the old school way of hard drive exchange, and it works out great. So I'm waiting for the hard drive, and once I get the hard drive, then I will move forward with the additional scenes that I need to edit for this feature. But all in all, it's going good. I might need his help, the director, to rearrange some of the scenes because there's a certain order that he wants them, and that's where the collaboration comes in. Like I told you before, I go by the script when I do my first, what's called the rough cut. And once I have that done, then I send him a preview copy with visible time code, and then we go back and forth and we polish it till we get a nice polished cut. And then I start working on all the other elements that are required to make a film look and sound professional. So that's it for today. I'm just going to do a short one today. This is one of the shortest vertical lives. I'm going to pump myself a little bit. Please go to my channel if you haven't seen my work. Look at some of my playlists. I have a bunch of content there. As I keep adding and adding and adding, and you guys are starting to watch, which I appreciate. I do appreciate it. My watch hours are slowly starting to creep up. My subscriber count, I'm closing in on 900 subscribers. And again, like I always say, I couldn't do it without you. I couldn't do it without you. So I appreciate that. And I will see you probably this evening to do a little recap here on the Vertical Live on YouTube. I like being on here, talking to you guys, telling you about what I'm going to do. And then later on in the afternoon or the early evening before I wrap up for the day, I'll tell you what I accomplished. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. My email is right down here on the website. I've been getting some emails. As a matter of fact, a quick story, I received a message from one of my viewers. She watched one of my early videos on about how to make money on no budget films. And she came back, she liked the video, but she came back with a really interesting comment that I didn't explain in detail how I made money on those no budget films. So what I did was, you can find it on my channel. I went back and I thought about what she said, and it was true. So I went back and I created a new version of that video where I explain in detail the current status of actually making money on no budget films. And then just a short preview. It's still possible. It's not easy as it used to be. And then I clarify that my comments were mostly coming from my days, what I call the heydays of no budget filmmaking. And that was probably the end of the 80s, beginning of the 90s, and a little bit into the 2000s. So that's what I really talk about. And I needed to make that clear. And I want to, not discouraging anybody from making no budget independent films. I just want you to go into it with your eyes open and knowing that you are going to need to use the resources that I didn't have available back then, the internet, to market your no budget film. It's going to take work, but it's not impossible. There are a lot of independent filmmakers out there doing it. They make their money back, and some are even making a profit. What I'm saying is not easy. It takes work. It's not, you just post your film on Facebook and then people start buying it. It takes work. It takes looking for an audience and creating something that audience wants to see. So check out the video on my channel, one of my newest videos, and you'll see some shorts about that. I'm about to put up a few more you'll see some shorts floating around on the shorts feed later today talking about that video. So go ahead and take a look at it. I appreciate that. And I'll be back again probably this evening, and I'll talk to you soon. Remember, only you can help me build this channel. Thank you. I'll see you later on today.